Hey guys, Saksham here, and today we're taking a look at iOS 14. Now some people love it, some people hate it, and some people says it's just a copy from Android. But at the end of the day, it's new iOS and there's lots to talk about. So why don't we start talking about on how do you actually get iOS 14. It will be available for you to download just like any update by going in your phone settings and going on software update. However, it won't be out until this fall, and if you can't wait to download it, you can download the beta version. Right now the beta version is only available for developers, but as soon as July starts, the public beta will be out. And if I'm able to upload this video by 1st July, then you should just be able to head over or follow my steps and you should be able to download the public beta for free. Before we get further, I do want to say if you are someone who is downloading iOS 14, it's highly recommended that you don't actually download iOS 14 on your main device, but get another device or a secondary device you can use to download iOS 14, just because it's a beta and there can be bugs which could mess up with your phone. So back to actually downloading iOS 14, it's actually pretty simple. So using the device you want to install iOS 14, just head over to developer.apple.com, then over on the top, click on the develop section and then click on downloads. Sign in with your Apple ID and scroll down until you find iOS 14. Then just tap on install profile, head over to settings to finish installing the beta version, and once all that is done, just go over to software updates and you should be able to see download iOS 14 just like any update you would see as a normal update. And from here on, you can just follow the normal steps, that is downloading and installing and letting the device do its thing. After the update is completed, you should be greeted with the Apple welcome screen and few prompts. After going through that, you should be in iOS 14. So today is June 28th and it's just been a week since I've been using iOS 14, and honestly I'm really liking it. Now, like looking back at it, iOS 13 and even before, there are many things that were just missing when you have iOS 14 in your hand. So let's talk about what was missing. Well, in other words, what's new in iOS 14. Starting from the widgets, it's actually super easy to access them. They will just be on your home screen, or if you end up, you can just swipe. So they're super easy to add. You just have to go in jiggle mode or wiggle mode, whatever you like to call it, hit the plus, and then you have the whole library to select your favorite widget, bring it onto the home screen and just rearrange them the way you like. Moving along, something that I think should have been there a long time ago, and that is the ability to just get rid of pages. So now you can basically just go back in wiggle mode and then click at the bottom right corner where you see the 3 or 4 indicator of pages, and then you can just uncheck the pages that you don't want on your home screen. Once you uncheck them, you can just basically swipe, and now instead of those pages, app drawer or Apple library loads up. And if in app library, something really sweet is that your most used and most frequently visited app is always bolded and you can just tap and go on it, whereas the other apps that are not really used that much or not frequent, you can actually click on them and it just opens a big folder, and then from there you can just click on the app you like to open. Or as always, you can just bring down Spotlight, search the app, or in app library now, if you click on the search, the app library, or just bring it down, you can actually see an alphabetical list of all the apps you have. Just like on Apple Watch, you can configure the list. You can just do that now on the iPhone. Next up, let's talk about getting calls. So probably one of the most frustrating thing with iOS that has been just falling for so long is that when you get a call, it covers your entire screen. You can't really do much if you're using the phone unless you accept it or reject it using the power button. But now when you get a call, you can just, it pops up from the top and you can now just flick it away to get rid of it. Moving onwards from phone UI, now let's say you're watching something. Now if you go home screen, it won't actually stop playing and we get picture in picture on your iPhone. We had picture in picture in macOS and iPadOS since last 2 versions, that finally getting it on iPhone I think is going to be super handy, especially if you're using Safari to watch something, or let's just say you're watching something on Apple TV or other apps like Netflix. I'm very sure YouTube is not going to really apply or pick up this whole picture in picture, but let's hope we actually get picture in picture on YouTube. Moving forward, now you can actually pin messages, then they will just stay on top of your messages and you can access them quickly. You don't really have to scroll them down if you're getting lots of text messages. And GroupChats has got better with few things like a brand new group image that you can customize, are also in text replies. And now you can also mention people. Now one thing you do want to make sure when you're mentioning people is, let's just say with someone's name, you actually have some emojis. And now for iOS, you actually pick up that person's name. When you're doing a mention, you actually have to type that emoji. But if you don't really have emojis, just a person's name, then it should be pretty easy. Next up, we actually get a brand new app this time with iOS 14, and that's the Translate app. So I tried this a while back ago in the morning actually, and it was not working. I think it was a server problem. So let's just see if this works. So I'm going to go in landscape mode where you can have conversations and Siri actually speaks out the answer. So let's just give it a shot. So it actually stopped working. Like it actually, let's see if I can get glitched out. So let me just try to, and this is the part where I was saying that if you get a call, now you can just do flick up and the call goes away, which is pretty neat. Something else that I just noticed, that if you're getting a FaceTime call and if you just flick it away, the call doesn't actually disappear in case you did it by accident. So right beside the time, the FaceTime icon will just be there like a blinking fade thing, so you know there's a call coming that you just dismissed. And this was something that was never talked about on Apple's website, but I think that's pretty neat, that if you just, let's just say you were actually dismissing a notification and a call comes and you dismiss that, you can still see that there's a dismissed call. Okay, so let's give it Translate app another shot. So I'm just translating from English to Spanish, and let's just try this out. Hey there, how are you? And we get an error saying translation unavailable. So hopefully this does get fixed when we have a different beta, but I have tried this before. Like the first time I got iOS 14, it actually was working. So I don't know if this works, so just probably a glitch on Apple's side or server side, something like that. But something about the translation app is that it does work offline, so you can actually download all the data of the language offline and make it work. However, Siri will not work offline and won't give voice feedback. And now, as we're talking about Siri, now actually let's talk about the new Siri UI. Now, instead of covering a whole screen like this, it actually just takes a little room at the bottom, and if you tell it to do something, it will pop the result up on the top. Another thing while I'm talking about Siri is that, let's just say when we use Siri, it's using the microphone. Now when the microphone is being used, there's a small indicator right beside the battery percentage or the battery icon, top right corner, which shows that the microphone is being used. And if you go to the control center, it will actually say what device or what app was actually using the microphone and how long before. So for me, it just said Siri and recently, because we just use Siri. Honestly, I find this is like the best thing in iOS 14 that comes up, that you know if an app is using a camera or a microphone, because nowadays you just never know what app is using it or not. So having this just gives you that peace of mind that you know now if you're using your device when the camera is on and when the microphone is on, and if it happens in background, you know it could be another app or it could be another problem. Next up, while we are talking about privacy, now let's just say you open up an app that uses location. The first thing you will see is what type of location access do you want to give that app. Do you want to share your precise location, or do you just want to share an estimated location? Next up, you also get the option to basically select how long they have the right to use the permission, and if you say just once, every time you open the app, you will have to basically go through that pop-up menu. Now, as we're talking about privacy, now in Safari, you can actually view live privacy or tracking reports. So let's just say you go on a website, now you can actually see what Safari blocked and what the website was trying to access. Along with that, now you can also do live translations of full page in iOS, which we got to see, like both of these features we got to see in macOS Big Sur, which Safari just never did before. So having that is just less apps to install, because before only, as far as you know, Chrome, Firefox did it, live translations. Now having that on Safari means I don't really need those apps. Finally, few of the things that have not really implemented on the phones is spatial audio with Airpods. So I'm not able to yet experience the spatial audio that was announced in the keynote about having spatial audio on Airpods. So I'm pretty sure we will get to see that in a different beta. Along with, I still have to test how good automatic AirPods switching is, and for that I will be installing the beta for macOS and iPadOS, and that's something just we will have to test it out how good it is, so make sure to stay tuned for that. And finally, the last feature of iOS 14 to end this video off is Game Center. So if you remember a while back ago, Game Center was actually an app, a legit thing where you can manage your scoreboard, achievements, and also add friends. And then that was just gone, I think in iOS 12, 13, just never existed. Now we get to see that back again, but to access it, you just have to go to App Store and click on your profile picture or your account picture, and you will see a dedicated tab for Game Center where you can see all the information much better laid out. So hope you like this video. I will be making more in-depth review for the iPadOS and macOS Big Sur, covering everything that you should know, how you get them, how to install them, and all that kind of stuff. And one more thing with iOS 14 that we never talked about, so I'm going to make a video about it, so make sure to press subscribe, hit the bell, that way you get notified, and hope you all have a great day.